Where will the magic man go? That's what everyone wants to know, right? Where's Mitch Marner going to sign? Where is he going to sign this summer? He is the biggest free agent that there is available this summer, and he's not going back to Toronto. I just don't see a way after that disappointing season or end of the season. He had 100 points in the season. It's definitely not disappointing for him. He's about to get paid. But for him and the Toronto Maple Leafs, it's time to move on. It's time to start a new chapter in his career, go try and win a cup somewhere else. And I have my top 10 most likely landing spots for Mitch Marner. Yes, there are a lot. I will preface this by saying 30 teams can offer Mitch Marner a contract, and 30 teams, I guarantee you, would try to make the money work for Mitch Marner because he's that good of a player. But realistically, at the end of the day, there's only 10 teams that are going to be really in the mix to sign him, and those are the teams that I have on this list and who I actually think Mitch Marner has a chance of signing with. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm Justin Arnberg. Welcome back to another video on Justin Sports. As you can tell, the name just rhymes with my name, Justin. Anyway, like, subscribe. If you like hockey content, you're not going to want to miss anything. And if you don't already follow me on Instagram, X, or TikTok, go do that now. All the links are in the bio, so you can do that very easily. But let's get into this. Starting at number 10, I have the Columbus Blue Jackets, okay? Now, for them, they have $41 million in cap space, okay? And they're a team that, let's be honest, they're up and coming. They could have made the playoffs this year. They have Adam Fantilli, Kent Johnson, Caden Lindstrom, who was fourth overall pick of last year, who plays with the Medicine Hat Tigers right now. They still have Boone Jenner, their captain, Kirill Machenko, who took a massive step this year, Sean Monahan, Cole Sillinger, a lot of good young players, and a pretty good defense core that's only going to get better as well. Zach Rowinski, everything seems to be on the up and up for this team. Listen, Mitch Marner could be in play for them, but I really don't think it's likely because if he really wanted to go to Columbus, he would have accepted the offer sheet when they had it on the table for him. I really just don't see Columbus being the team where Mitch Marner wants to live for 8 years. That's the only issue with this one. We're moving on to number 9. We have the Winnipeg Jets, okay? The Winnipeg Jets, listen, some people are going to tell me I'm crazy for suggesting that the Winnipeg Jets might be a landing spot for Mitch Marner, okay? They have $25 million in cap space right now. Assuming that Nikolai Ehlers is not going to return, they're going to need to spend some money. And they're a team that is in a championship window. They are really in a championship window right now, and they can use a Mitch Marner on their right wing. Okay? Any team can use a Mitch Marner. They have $25 million in cap space, which means, to me, they're going to offer, I think, if you Winnipeg and you want to get them, you're going to need to pay $1 million more than what everyone else is paying them. So if you offer them 14.5, possibly that gets them for 8 years. You already have your cornerstones locked in Mark Scheifele and Connor Hellebuck. So I don't think it's out of reach for Winnipeg to really make an aggressive offer at Mitch Marner and for him to realize, yeah, I might want to go play in the market like that. It's definitely possible in my eyes. That's the way I'm looking at them. They have a great team. They really do. And a lot of their core pieces, like I said, are already locked up. So it makes sense. It really does. Moving on to number 8 on this list, we have the Calgary Flames, okay? Another Canadian team, yes, I can see them going to a couple of Canadian markets. The couple that I can't is Ottawa, Vancouver, Montreal. Listen, if he went to Ottawa or Montreal, that would be the absolute biggest heel turn in the NHL's history. It just would not be. He would get booed worse than John Tavares does at Long Island when he goes back. All right, so at number 8, we have the Calgary Flames, $27 million in cap space this year. Their depth chart, if we go look at their team, it was supposed to be a rebuilding year for them, but they really took steps forward, I think. You have Jonathan Huberdeau, you have Nazem Kadri, Connor Zary, Blake Coleman, Mike Backling, Matt Coronado, who they just signed to a 7-year extension. Sharon Govich, Morgan Frost, Joel Farabee. The list goes on, and they have young up-and-coming players. They have Luke Misa. They have Zane Perek here. They have Kevin Ball. They need to re-sign Rasmus Sanderson, and they have Uyghur. Like they're actually really good, and their goalies are going to be one of the best tandems in the league to come for the next 10 years. So, listen, if I'm Mitch, I'm intrigued by the fact of playing with an old teammate in Nazem Kadri, and I'm intrigued by the fact that this team is actually on the up and up, and they have a chance to win, and they're going to be going into a new building soon. So I would say Calgary is a legit option for Mitch Marner here this offseason. Okay, moving on to number 7. I have the New York Islanders, personally, because there's just too much hype around him. I can see him going there, and the New York Islanders being one of the teams that are so desperate to sign someone, that they just offer him the bag realistically, and overpay him. And listen, they don't have. If you go look at their depth chart, I really don't see. I only see him going here because of how desperate the New York Islanders are going to get. I really don't see this team competing for a Stanley Cup in the next 3 years, at least. So why does he want to spend the prime of his career in a place that they're not going to be competing for a Stanley Cup? Like I said, the only reason I have them above 3 other teams right now is because I feel like they're going to get very desperate with their new management, and they're just going to offer him as much as they possibly can because they have the first overall pick, and they're just trying to, leverage everything that they have at the moment. But that's moving on from number 7. Number 6, we have the San Jose Sharks. Listen, San Jose is the most intriguing team to me. I personally would love to see Mitch Marner on the San Jose Sharks. I think that would be so much fun. $43 million, $44 million basically in cap space this year. Macklin Celebrini, top line center, already locked in. You have Will Smith. The top 2 centers on this team are going to be legit. Tyler Toffoli, not Victor, William Eklund. If we're being honest though, the defense also is really freaking good on the way up. Sam Dickinson is on the way. And you got a stud goalie in Askarov back there. There's so much prospects coming up with this team, and the San Jose Sharks went from being the worst team in hockey, no one wanted to watch them 2 years ago, to being a bad team. No, obviously a terrible team, but a fun team. And I think Mitch Marner would help accelerate that rebuild into competing for a playoff spot next year. At least getting that going, and then we'll see what the Sharks are able to do. But the Sharks, they've done this rebuild right, and yeah, I think this is the most intriguing spot for him to land this summer. But moving on to the top 5 now, we have the Minnesota Wild. Listen, the Minnesota Wild have $20 million in cap space this year. This is the first year that they're actually going to have Ryan Suter and Zach Parise off the books, and they can actually use some cap space to sign some players. So it's exciting times for the Minnesota Wild, and they already have a legit roster, and they just need another superstar, in my opinion, to fill it out and have a wonderful, wonderful team. Marco Rossi probably going to be offer sheeted this summer. They're going to have to sign him, but you take that $20 million, their defense is already locked up, and you take that $20 million and, you turn it into Mitch Marner and you extend Rossi. I really do think that this team is legit, and it's going to be good for the next while. As you can see, their depth pieces are the only ones that they don't have locked into the next year. So yeah, and their decor is basically locked in except for John Merrill. So yeah, they're a team to watch out for, and they have the goalie prospects on the way. Wallstead and Philip Gustafson, who was unreal for them this year, who's coming back next year. So Mitch Marner going to Minnesota, U.S. team. I really think that market would fit him well, and I think the team fit would be good as well. But moving into the top four, some people are going to laugh at this. I really think this is a possibility. And a legit possibility. They have $38 million in cap space. They just got a new head coach in Joel Quenville. And listen, this team to me is the best. Was the best. This team to me was the best landing spot for any coach this year. Like Cutter Gauthier, amazing young talent. Leo Carlson, amazing young talent. Frank Vetrano, older but still a very good piece. Ryan Strome, a very good depth piece. Mason McTavish, a really good up and coming player. Trevor Zegras, we don't know what he is. We know that he's good, but we don't know if he's going to be great or if he's just going to be mediocre. He kind of has shown signs of both. Alex Killorn, obviously older vet, but still really good. Troy Terry, really freaking good. Jackson Lacombe, amazing. Minchukov, a great. Zellweger, great. Like they have so many guys on the way up still, and Lucas Dostal is just keeps on getting better and better and better. This team is just on the up and up, and I think they're ready to take the next step. Like you talk about John Tavares signing with the Maple Leafs back in 2017 or 2018, sorry. And listen, this kind of gives me the same vibe. They're ready for that next step. They're ready for that great player to come help them take the next step and make the playoffs. So Anaheim to me is a legit threat to sign Mitch Marner this year, and it's a perfect market for him, because if he wants to go to a market that's not going to be super on him all the time, I would say Anaheim is the perfect market to go to. So going into the top three now, though, this one is solely on the fact you loved playing with Sidney Crosby at the Four Nations. You loved you've been with Kyle Dubas for a lot of your career. I can't not see them having a legit conversation about Mitch Marner going to the Pittsburgh Penguins. Like, at the end of the day, Pittsburgh might be a superstar away from being back into the playoffs. Like, they weren't great this year, but they weren't terrible. Like they really weren't that bad. In terms of like we look at like the Chicago Blackhawks and like looking at them, and then the San Jose Sharks, like we said, and I would say Buffalo's even in that category. So for me, like they're not as bad as what they played like this year. They still have Rucker McGroarty, who's 21 years old, who's gonna be a legit NHL player. Sidney Crosby, obviously 37. Brian Russ, Richard Rakell, Malkin, probably done after this season. They have a lot of cap space coming up in the next couple of years. Chris Letang, obviously, a couple more years. Erik Karlsson. The biggest problem for me with this team isn't really so much their defense, it's their goaltending. They need to figure that out. They obviously have Tristan Jarry, who's been put down on waivers before this season. Their goalie mess is not a great one right now. Maybe Jarry bounces back. But the sole reason I have them at number 3 on my list is because Sidney Crosby, number 1, who doesn't want to play with Sidney Crosby? And number 2, the Kyle Dubas connection. I think that's a very strong connection for Mitch Marner, and I don't see him rejecting any phone calls, and I think he's going to legit take a visit to Pittsburgh. But moving into my top 2, I think everyone kind of has the same top 2. Listen, Utah. Utah is the place, like, you got to think like he's going to. That's a favorite to land him. $22 million in cap space coming up. Basically, their core is all locked in for next year, except for Nick Bjugstad and Jack Bain. Sorry. Like they're locked up, and they have a lot of prospects on the way. They have, like as we can still see, they still have a ridiculous amount of picks to come in the next couple of years. They're gonna have to trade some of them, but yeah. If we look at this team's ready to take the next step, even more so than maybe Anaheim, because you have Dylan Gunther, you have Logan Cooley, you have Clayton Keller, you have Nick Schmaltz, you have Barrett Hayton, you have Josh Stone, you have Lawson Krause, you have Jack McBang, and like the players are there. The talent is there. It's just a matter of going out. They traded for Mikhail Sergachev last year at the draft, and that was their first big splash. Now I think they need to go out, and Ryan Smith already came out and said at the end of the year, like, expect for them to be in the conversations for big things this offseason. So I am fully on the mammoth train for Mitch Marner, and I do think that is a favorite to land him. But my number one team, and it should come as no surprise, is the Chicago Blackhawks. This team is going to be the most desperate of any team there is because they need Mitch Marner to sign the worst. Like, in the worst way possible, they need Mitch Marner to sign. And listen, $30 million in cap space, they might offer him $15 million. Like that to me is not off the table because that's how desperate I think they are to get someone around Connor Bedard. Like, when you look at this lineup right now, they legit have no one. They legit have no one. Obviously, Frank Nazar, but like, other than that, no one. There was no support for Connor Bedard this year. Like, Teuvo Teravainen, great. Guess what? Was not good. Did not fit well. Did not fit well with Bedard. Did not do anything that they hoped that he would do to help Bedard along with his development. Listen, Tyler Bertuzzi as well was not good. All of these signings that they made in the offseason, they took a big swing at Jake Gensel. It didn't work out. Now, they went out and got Spencer Knight, which was a good ad, I think. Their defense is starting to come together. They got Lev Shinoff last year with the 2nd overall pick. Kevin Korinski with the 7th overall pick after trading Alex DeBrincat. Vlasic, and Renzel, and Connor Murphy. Like, their defense is coming together quite nicely. I think that is their strong suit, to be honest. And their forward group is what's lacking. They really desperately need forwards. I would assume Michael Misa is probably going to the Chicago Blackhawks at number 3 if he makes it to number 3. We'll see. I could see James Higgins up going number 1, or you could take James Higgins at number 3. We'll see what happens, but you can guarantee that the Chicago Blackhawks are going offense, and they need Mitch Marner to sign so bad that I don't see any single way that they're going to not be the biggest offer. Like, they have to simply put themselves in a situation where Mitch Marner just simply says, I don't want to go. And it's on him because they have to be the ones to offer him at least $14 million a year. Like, at least 14. With the cap going up, 14 in a couple of years might not be as bad as what it seems. But right now, if you want to get out of this slump and start progressing out of this rebuild, Mitch Marner has to be your number one priority this summer. And it has to be because Connor Bedard is your franchise guy, and you need another franchise guy to play alongside of him. Outside of that, Kyle Davidson has done nothing with this GM job that has been great. Like, nothing. Passed on Ivan Demidov last year. Like, I don't get it. Just, yeah. Kyle Davidson, well, we'll get to him later in another video, but he has the most pressure this summer because he has to get Mitch Marner. So that's my number 1. I hope you enjoyed my top 10 landing spots for Mitch Marner. I think that, as time goes on, we'll see who's more likely, who might not be more likely. Like, there's some teams that I shouldn't be counting out, like the Edmonton Oilers. Just some magical way that they are able to get him under the cap. I don't think that they can realistically, but you can't count anyone out at this point other than, I would say, the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's basically the only team that you can count on at this point. But yeah, other than that, thank you for watching. Enjoy your day, and we'll see you next time. Like and subscribe. Catch you later.